Hey there, Libra, and welcome back to Boneko Tarot. I am here with your June general reading for 2020, and if you find that this reading resonates with you, please see in the description box below for a link to my Patreon site for the extended version of this. There you'll also find I'm building a magazine-style website with all sorts of different resources, in addition to getting all of the extended reads, which you can watch for your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign, and your friends and your family, that kind of thing, to get some insight. I'll also have some doodles that are illustrating some of the astrological influences that we're all going through, so stay tuned for that. So in the meantime, as well, if you could hit the like button, share, and subscribe, I am ever so grateful for your support. So Libra, let's jump into it. I'm not going to get into too much planetary detail, but I will give you sort of a basic rundown of the themes that you're going to be going through this month of June. So we have, of course, Venus retrograde in Gemini still in effect from May. So those energies are still very much present. And so that's happening in your 9th house of travel and philosophy. So you could be reflecting on travel. You could be reflecting on belief systems. You know, that's kind of what the Venus influence is going to be sort of poking. We also had a lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, which is, that was on June 5th. And that happened in your 3rd house of communication. So coming up, we have a solar eclipse in Cancer, and that's closer to the solstice. And it's also the theme of this time around's Mercury retrograde. So this is happening in your 10th house. So you're reviewing things about your career, about your image within your career, and, you know, the sort of passion and vocation aspect. How closely are your beliefs, which of course your 9th house is touching on as well, being lived out through your career. We also have Jupiter conjunct Pluto on June 30th, and that's going to be happening in your home and family sector. So this is not the only time when this is going to be happening this year, and I will have more information on this particular alignment in the coming days, weeks. I don't know yet. I'm still working out my schedule. And then, of course, at the end of the month, Mars enters Aries, where it is exalted. And as a Libra, this is happening in the opposite part of the zodiac for you. So very powerful, very cardinal elements within your relationships. So lots of very heady relational communication, home and family, all of the things that are closest to you. And then also sort of redefining how you're expressing yourself in all of those areas. So let's jump right into the tarot and see what we have for Libra for June 2020. All right, so there's one, and there's two. I also suggest, oh, you know what, I'll take that too. I also suggest that you watch the collective reading for this, for June general, if you haven't already, because it's really kind of, I found it really bang on for me anyway, in terms of where the collective is right now. So you may be feeling those energies, and it could enhance what we find out here. So just a few more cards. Oh, look at that. We got a jumper. Ooh, see? Queen of Wands. And I think Queen of Wands was actually in the collective. And, oh, and so Was the Fool too? I think it was. So look at that. That's kind of weird. I love tarot. Oh, 2 cards. Okay, so that one and that one. Oh, it's going to be fun. I can feel it already. All right, so what are the surrounding energies for Libra in June 2020? Well, we've got the King of Cups. So, of course, this could be a water sign, a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio. But this could generally, as a theme, be talking about emotional availability and the maturity aspect, sort of being master of one's own emotions and being able to be present with others in a really good heart space. So let's go with that. Yeah, and you know, that's being reflected in the center energies for your reading. We have Temperance. So in terms of astrological sign, this can represent Sagittarius, but because it's at the center of your reading, I'm thinking that you really are finding an equilibrium in your emotions. You know, perhaps the reflection that you've been forced to go through has brought you to a new emotional evolution, and wouldn't you know, your obstacle being my quarantine card, the 8 of Swords. So, so yeah, that's, you know, perhaps, again, like as I believe I said in the collective reading, you know, it depends on whether you've been going with the process or or whether you've been kicking and screaming your way through it. You know, we all have our moments, right? So, and the Moon. So, you know, you could have a bit of mystery going on around you. Perhaps, you know, this sort of new level of mastering your emotions, because, you know, the position for you has revealed itself to be the Fool. So you're ready for a new adventure. You're already pointed in that direction. So let's see what's been happening in the past. Well, a cycle has completed. So you're kind of through the grief process. You're through, you know, the sort of messy letting go stuff. And, you know, and because of all of that work that you've done, you've got this emotional maturity and equilibrium about you, even though you are kind of feeling on the outside. But it doesn't seem to be bothering you much because you've got the Queen of Wands and you've got the Fool. So you could be feeling very comfortable solo at this point in time. You know, you may not be ready to sort of get back into the world of relationship until Mars hits Aries. And even then, you know, we've just come out of the Venus retrograde, which is never a good time to start a relationship. And then Mars is going retrograde. And that's going to be for quite some time, because that is going to be from September until mid-November. The beginning of September to mid-November is going to be the time when Mars is going to be retrograde in your house of relationships. So you could be really kind of going through a bit of a renaissance, sort of upping your standard for what you want out of love. But the Knight of Wands is somewhere in your vicinity. Who's the Knight of Wands? Well, the Knight of Wands is a player. And, you know, in and out, hi, how are you? Oops, gotta go. You know, it's like this energy is what is around you. And guess who's tired of it? You know, it's just like, not again. You know, no, thank you. And sure enough, you're walking away. But it's not a crushing. You know, even this Five of Pentacles that you have at the top of your chart, it's like, yeah, you know, that's all right, because I'm feeling in charge, you know. And you got a new adventure, and see you later. You've turned your back on the player. Look, no more. See you later. I got things to do, places to go, people to see. Bye. So, good for you. Good for you, Libra. I think that's where I'm going to leave it for now, and I'm going to continue on from here to Patreon to see what else I can dig out of here. See if there's any other nuggets or surprises. Anyways, as always, thank you for your support, and see you over at Patreon. I don't know. Let's see what's going on with Mr. Knight of Wands. Oh, yeah. No appreciation, you know. It's like, you know, the Knight of Wands, you know, can't see the forest for the trees. The Knight of Wands is constantly looking at what he doesn't have. So that's why the grass is always greener for the Knight of Wands. Always. Because he's always looking at what he doesn't have.